as well as Chichi already been taken out. We know for a fact that this is our top priorities heroes. You don't want to mess around
Kita
with it.
masuk
So definitely
game
Indonesia already
pertama,
making a
guys.
really good move. On the side of Team
Antara
Cambodia,
Indonesia
they took out
versus
not just
Kamboja.
Baxia, Grok
Grand
as well for the
final.
meta heroes as well, and the Lancelot. So definitely still
Jusin
gives
Diven
an
Iesf
opening for the
Cici
Hayabusa to win if
Baxia
they want to
Grok
actually pick up. But
Lancelot.
earlier on, Indonesia just picked up Kimi first of
First
all.
pick Kimi.
Kimi first pick has not really been
Kita lihat
seen
mapnya Flying
throughout
Cloud.
WEC
Yeah.
so far. But this is actually one of the safer meta strategies of just opening up with Kimi because she fills a very flexible role.
Gatot
You can
kaca
tell that Indonesia's already
lapu-lapu.
kind of locked in for this one. But going in that direction means that Team Cambodia can respond with a very safe opening of their
Wah,
own with the
ini kuat sama
lapu-lapu
kuat
and
nih.
Yeah, the Gatot as well as Lapu-Lapu is definitely one
Sampai
of the
3, Bang.
great picks coming up from Team Cambodia.
Gamenya,
It's
Bang.
kind of actually a waste if they didn't actually pick it up early on. But here's the thing, Team Indonesia,
Iya.
are they looking forward to actually get the assassins right now, or they're actually looking forward to get even YSS is quite open right now? It's definitely one of the top picks can be picked up by Team Indonesia. What are the
Lawan
strengths they are
Kamboja
looking
lagi,
for right
guys.
now for this first game?
Well, like what you pointed out, Hayabusa or
Granger,
will most likely be
ambil,
one of the
ambil,
picks
ambil.
of Indonesia, and it does look to be the Yisan Shin. This actually pairs up incredibly well with the Kimi because it
Yisan
with
Shin
a lot of
Esmeralda.
different strats. Triple marksman with the Granger, double fighter side lane, which is most likely what they're leaning into. They grab the Esmeralda as well in advance. This is a pretty solid matchup into a lot of EXP laners.
Oh, definitely. Looking on the side of Indonesia, a lot of prioritize from the side of damage is really good. I like the cover up for the team of Indonesia for now. Team Cambodia, they pretty much prioritize on the sustainability. They want to make sure that at least they have that ground for them for the CC. And
Granger
also
lagi, guys.
a good smooth combination from the side
Lagi-lagi
of
Ganjar.
Gatot Kaca as well as Lapu-Lapu. Definitely we saw how Mlbb she was amazing with the damage wise, and if they be able to actually guard her very
Ini lebih
well,
panas
she might be able
Kamboja,
to
guys.
do
Dia
some
tadi
of the
baru
lane
main,
post
guys.
damage.
Considering how well Mlbb did earlier with the Granger, and I feel like that is an understatement for anyone who did
Kalah,
not
Bang.
watch the previous
Yeah.
match.
Dibantai 2-0.
I think it's a really good idea to just go into the Granger again to make use of the momentum that may have been carried over from their previous victory.
Apa?
And since they will be
Iya,
heading into
memang
the second
gitu.
fan phase right after this, you can get
Apa
rid
nama-
of heroes that might pose a problem. Ruby
Kayak
going to be the most
konslet gitu dia.
obvious since Yisanshin sets up for double fighter side lane. With CC also already taken out, it forces Indonesia to go into a typical marksman.
Ruby di ban.
Looking on the side of Team Indonesia, they can definitely
Ini
take out
apa ya
more
Indonesia
of the
Godland
players from
ini?
the mid lane as well if they want to actually guard
Apa
down a
Esmeralda,
little bit
guys, ya?
more. We see how Lunox has been a great contender as well, a great addition for the side of Team Cambodia. So those are the things also they can actually take out from the proportion.
Team Indonesia going to be eyeing what to ban for the side of Team Cambodia. Like you pointed out, mid laners are still in the pool, jungler as well. Going to be something Cambodia needs to look for. Jungler pool in
Hayabusa
general right
di
now is going
ban.
to be a little bit more limited since Indonesia already has their Yisan Shin. They can start getting rid of some of these options, especially the assassins that Tegami is more known for. Hayabusa is going to be the first. If they want to continue focusing on the jungle picks, then maybe getting rid of the Suyo as well would really narrow down that hero pool.
It's not just the Suyo, they can also drag down Fredwin as well, because we saw how Tegami was with the Fredwin on the last fight with Team Egypt. So that's also
Cho
one of the
di
strong that
ban.
can be seen. But on the side of Team Cambodia, Cho has already been picked off, and we know for a fact that this is where they want to actually make sure that there's no one to be easy going into the back line with a single lockdown to Granger. So making sure that at least there will be a guard up for Team Cambodia.
Cho is a hero that would pose difficulty for almost any jungler that Cambodia picks up right now, both tanks and assassins. So I think it's perfectly respectable to take this out of the pool entirely to try and keep it to a more standard front to back on both sides. Team Indonesia now has a choice. If they want to continue banning junglers, then there are still assassins like Joy and Suyo in the pool. If they want to ban tanks, then Fredrid would be the most obvious. Alternatively, they may also worry about other fighters that could pop out. Looks like the one they get rid of though is Fanny.
Interesting. I don't think that we've seen Fanny actually bring out from from the team of Cambodia, even from them dropping off with Indonesia, or even when they fight off with Turkey as well. So yeah, probably they just want to be a little bit safe. If anything, that maybe Tegami will surprise us off with the assassin jungler. But still, that kind of opens a lot of pool as well for Tegami and still be able to fight off with Red Rain if
kenapa
she
itu?
wants to go in again with the success that she already pulls in from the fight they had with Jeep. But again, that's going to be the prioritize, or they're just gonna hold up a little bit for that assassin, or they want to actually go for the mid lane instead.
This should be
Nope.
the jungle pickup, yep.
Red
Red
Rain,
will get locked in. I think
aduh.
it's very smart of Team Cambodia to leave their mid laner for last. Because they don't have a lot of jungle options left anyway, so they may as well lock in the Brethren since it doesn't get countered by all that much anymore compared to a mid laner where if they showed like Farsa for example, you could still go into a Yuzong on the side of Indonesia and really mess with that gameplay. So Cambodia is going to keep that on the down low. Indonesia still have...
Aduh ya ampun.
Besides Xborg, I get the feeling they'll be looking at that, and then they'll still be looking for a roamer as well.
Let's see if that's going to be the case though. We did see Yuzong has already been picked out earlier on by Indonesia from the past days, but it's going to be Kalea to be paired up
Sun.
with Sun. Sun been picked up by
Sun Gokong.
Indonesia.
Team Indonesia up to a little bit of
Wow,
monkey
ini
business
Indonesia
right now.
guys.
Sun making his debut
Ngeri itu
in
monyet
the
Indonesia.
WEC stage on game 1 of the grand finals is very interesting. Now during the recent
Itu si Ganjar sekali
this is
pukul
actually
nanti
a gold
tuh.
lane pickup that was shown and oftentimes banned because it does provide good split pushing pressure and he
Asal
surprisingly
nggak
does a good amount of
purify aja
damage
dia.
to tankier front lines as well.
Kayaknya
It's actually
puri
not a
sih.
bad time
Pasti
for this
puri
hero
ya.
to show up.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let's see if Indonesia will also portray a little bit of surprise element here for our movement category. But for Team Cambodia, not much of mid lane. They can actually pick up here. But again, there's still Lunox to be opened up. But no, they pick up
Zetian.
Zetian instead. And I think this is also one of the debut here. No, not yet. This could be a debut at the main stage because we did not see any fights of Zetian on the main stage. So definitely this is a debut to be seen from Team Cambodia putting out that Zetian at the mid lane. Now looking on the draft-wise, Dafa, what are your thoughts?
This is interesting. Zetian is not a bad last pick because it's going to be able to provide vision to match the Yi Sun Shin on the opposite side. And that way, they also have a mechanic for maybe catching the Sun if he's trying to do cheeky split pushing. But in exchange, you lose out on a lot of the typical burst that you would have with a hero like Farsa or Eve instead. So in exchange on that, they're going to be putting a lot of pressure on Mlbb to perform this time around. It's going to be a Granger versus Sun in the gold lane. Interesting matchup. Don't get to see that very often. And it is going to be Petrify as well. So Mlbb has to be quite careful here.
Mlbb definitely needs to be aware of the whole surrounding, especially again, we talked about how when it comes to Egypt just now, they didn't actually create a lot of the safe gap between them with Team Cambodia. So this is something that Cambodia also needs to adapt as well, fighting off with Team Indonesia. Very interesting draft indeed from both sides, but I think when it comes to the honest straightforward we do have from Team Cambodia, the question is when Indonesia-wise, a lot of the escape mobility-wise is on their side, so those are the crucial things that Team Cambodia has to be aware of. I think pretty much when it comes to the execution is what is crucial right now between the two teams.
And looking at the case, if we dive into the more specifics, level 1 mid lane is going to be in favor of Team Indonesia. Kalea Kimi will definitely outtrade Zetian Gatot, so Cambodia needs to avoid going too aggressive there to avoid giving Cine too early of a kill. Once we come around the first turtle timing, first to second turtle, Cambodia will have the advantage because they are just generally more sustainable, more bulky, and they have good artillery fire. But once we get into the later stages of the game, when we are starting to look at full item builds from most of the cores, Indonesia will have the natural lead because they have split push pressure, they have more heroes that are able to output consistent DPS, and that means Cambodia cannot afford for this to last too long unless they can guarantee that Mlbb is snowballing.
Let's see if Team Cambodia can control the movement
Wah,
like
ada
they did
trouble
before,
ini.
compared to how Indonesia is. They're gonna go all out aggression earlier on, and this is what they want to do, to put on so much tension to a point that Cambodia cannot skip any beat far right now. Again, tensions is building
Lama ya.
by both of these teams from the draft itself. I know everybody's waiting. We are also waiting right now, just giving even more suspense for both of us as well as here in the stage of WEC.
This is going to be game one of the grand finals after all. While it may not matter too much in the grand scheme of things, since it is going to be the first of 3 wins, being able to set yourself up with that foundation is going to be crucial. And if Cambodia can actually put a point on the board, that is going to do wonders for their morale, considering that not a single other team thus far has
Wah,
been able to
nggak
secure even a
main-main, guys.
single game from Team Indonesia.
Oh, this is tough. And I don't think that we've ever seen flying clouds in the maps of Team Indonesia as well. Even though, yeah, we talked about how it's not really that impactful when it comes to most of the maps that are in the Land of Dawn. So it really doesn't matter because we always see that they are performing very well in the rest of
Lama ya.
the 3 maps itself, whether or not it is dangerous grass, expanding rivers, or even on the side of where we see the teams that did fight at the flying clouds, they do not really have much of the impact of using that flying cloud for their teleportation, flying into the lane phase as well. So again, this is pretty much all up to these 2 teams, whether or not they can actually execute properly, get their guts up, find a way for them to actually just hold up the positioning. And even so, like you talked about how Cambodia
Wah, ada
wise,
trouble ini.
early games definitely not gonna be on their side, especially for the burst wise of team Cambodia. If Baobei can hold her own lane just finely, they might be able to actually pull through. But I don't think Indonesia will allow that.
Yeah, Team Indonesia has already proven that they are capable of adapting on the fly. They have really good strategies, and the fact that they have
Kenapa
saved
ini
this sun
guys?
all the way until the grand finals itself is a very intimidating feeling. Cambodia have also revealed this Zetian, which can help deal with split pushes and match up the Sun Shin. So it looks like they are prepared somewhat for these fringe cases. Now, just to give a little bit of information for the peeps who are watching at home, we are fixing a small technical issue right now on the stage. So hopefully you guys will be patient with us for a little bit. Our marshals are hard at work making sure that everything is a-okay to ensure that everything is going to be fine for this grand finals.
I mean, come on, this is the serious deal, man. This is the grand finals, the redemption, revenge after revenge between these 2 teams.
Okay,
Who
guys.
will make a new history, or who will keep their championship title under their belt? Give it up to the World Esports Championship 2025 Grand Final Women, Indonesia versus Cambodia.
A return to history from 2024, where both these teams have met up once before. Who will be able to take game number 1 this time around? And thank you very much to our marshals for their hard work, making sure that we are able to jump into the Land of Dawn here. So, as we've already pointed out, mid lane is going to be important here because Team Indonesia has the natural advantage with the Kimi Kalea. Cambodia needs to play safe around this, but also ensure that they're not going to be able to easily rotate and affect the other side lane.
Let's see. For right now, they are doing some of the rotation to invade all of the
Aduh,
rotation that
tuh.
was done. And even I feel like there is some sort of
Bahaya guys, bayangannya
rotation-wise
bisa
coming from
menghasilkan
Team
duit tuh.
Indonesia to move around and setting things up for the turtle pit. So this is where the fine line that I feel like Team Indonesia, they're just trying to play it a little bit faster compared to Cambodia.
The Sun versus Granger matchup is going to be an interesting one. Sun is a fighter, and he will naturally have a little bit more bulk and damage early on in comparison, which means that if Shell wants to go for a dive, Baobei will need to be careful. But Granger is also one of the Hold On.
Hold On comes in, ooh, able to actually pull through with the pulse, but at the same time, Team Cambodia, a little bit ambitious right there.
Now back to what I was saying, Granger is one of the few marksman heroes
Kita
that
lihat
actually
turtle
clears
pertama.
Sun clones very quickly. So if Baobei plays this safe and keeps getting those, then that's actually a lot of extra farm going to the goal lane of Cambodia.
Yeah, definitely gonna close out with his right fashion pulse comes through.
Aduh, dapat si Fredrin guys. Yes. Wah, double kill lagi lapu-lapunya.
Strong opening there from Team Cambodia, and that's exactly what I was talking about before as well. Around the timing of the first to second turtle, Team Cambodia has the advantage because of the way their composition works, especially Tegami on this Fredrin, who was able to just stand in front and absorb all the damage to secure the retribution timing and then punish Vival for trying to go for that front line instead. I think Cambodia already drawing first blood and even picking up a second for a comfortable 1k goal lead against Team Indonesia.
Seems like Moshi trying so hard to make sure that he can be able to actually push a little bit of Fumieko. But here's the thing, Fumieko also doesn't have to worry that much, still have a lot of sustainability in the hands. So this is just still a very, very par fight between those two. Question is, right now, with 50 seconds on the clock for the second turtle, Team Indonesia, can they actually revamp themselves from the mistake they made? Here coming along, Tagami pushing on to Cine.
Like they're not going to try and force that out. Fumieko also actually having a bit of a difficult time against Moshi. Those two initial kills both went to the Lapu Lapu, so that means the Moshi is going to have a slight EXP lead against the Esmeralda in lane. That does make quite a big difference here. It allows her to trade a lot more easily.
Pretty much, I thought that Indonesia was going to actually punish or even try to pressure Team Cambodia, but somehow Cambodia looking even more aggressive earlier on, and I think because of the fact that they have that ability or even the advantage of their damage from the early games, and that's why they're just taking advantage of it. But here on out, Team Indonesia is going to get some places for the top lane itself.
Turtle
While
kedua.
the team of Cambodia is quite setting up themselves at the turtle pit, and this is
Tanpa
like
kontes.
great for themselves. They're not gonna actually contest it off. So a win for both sides of Indonesia as well as Cambodia. But here on out, Fumieko
Aduh, nggak dapat
actually
guys,
go in all
Grangernya.
out for a fight. Gonna able to survive those equations, but now comes in the team of Cambodia. They've all able to get that turret, but Fumieko is going to be
mati
sacrificed with Tagami.
Esmeraldanya.
Dasha balls come through. Mono Chakras also pull through, but unfortunately, Tsunami Slam tried to steal away by Vivian, but instead it doesn't have any follow-up, so it's gonna be a weak win for Cambodia.
Really smart idea from Team Indonesia to go for the split push. They're well aware that they cannot match up in direct
Itu
5v5
tukar ya,
right
tukar
now,
lane
so
itu,
they're not
guys.
even gonna bother around the turtle. But they may have stayed a little bit too long. They should have backed off after taking the entire gold shield, because Team Cambodia was able to collapse in. And while they're not able to get the shield themselves, they might be able to threaten the tower.
Goes in for the dive right here. Wavebreaker comes through, just try to evade it out, but goes in the back line. Right there, immediately Vivian in trouble. AOD comes in, doesn't catch up on Baobei. Just down Vivian.
Beautiful dive there from Moshi. This Lapu Lapu being an MVP for Cambodia right now, but looks like Shell is no slouch either, taking advantage of Cambodia showing up top to steal away the purple buff. Baobei has swapped lanes as well. This means that the Sun is going to be able to catch up a bit in farm.
On the side of Team Cambodia, they do win most of the fight itself, and somehow Team Indonesia is taking their stacks back. They're trying to slow things down, find a way for them to win just those micro things that is crucial for their own.
Now, at this point in
Kita
the
lihat
game, we've
Sunnya
already
juga
mentioned
pindah
Team
guys.
Cambodia is going to naturally have an advantage due to the nature of their draft. They've been able to build up a strong 2K
Iya, Bang.
lead. If they
Si
can
Sel.
continue building this snowball, and especially funneling kills into Baobei, they should be able to quite cleanly end the game around the 16-minute mark. They cannot afford to allow it last too much longer than that, or lose out on this advantage from this point onwards, because Team Indonesia has a very strong scaling composition, and they have a lot of macro pressure as well, compared to Cambodia, which largely will need to stay together for fights.
And look at that, this is going to be the third turtle dance coming through.
Turtle ketiga.
Team Indonesia is overlooking,
Perfect
not gonna
turtle,
actually
guys.
be able to contest it out, but now they're gonna push it all the way to fight. Team Indonesia had to pull away, does actually go stun for the side of the Fury of the Phoenix, but then it's still Team Cambodia to get that win.
Team Indonesia playing it slowly now. They're aware they can't directly fight, though it looks like Cambodia is still gonna try and force them back.
They are going in for the diving composition. Doesn't get anyone though, but Team Indonesia is going to actually be pulled back so much by Team Cambodia.
Dapat tuh Jetian dapat.
Vivian doesn't
Ih,
make
nggak
it alive.
dapat, guys.
Baobei takes it down, and even Cine could not do anything for
Esmeraldanya
that.
ngejar,
Well done there,
dapat
Tagaki
nice.
tanking the
Itu
tower.
Preden.
Unfortunately, looks like Fumieko gonna be able to find Elan on the retreat. Now he's
nggak
trying to
tahan,
join
nggak
the
tahan.
fight.
Fumieko, straight pushing on, able to take down her for the trace, but as well, Vival, that's not going to be a good move. Bounty Shocker just to give a little bit of skirmish, but it's still going to be another win for Team Cambodia.
I'm really liking the positioning I'm seeing right now from Team Cambodia. Ue literally walking in front to use her body to block the damage onto her low health jungler, keeping Tegami alive and around, continue creating pressure. Team Cambodia have been doing it right so far. But the gold lead is still fairly narrow because Team Indonesia has shifted into farming mode. They are willing to sacrifice bodies in exchange for map space because they know that Team Cambodia has to stay largely together. 8 minutes in, First Lord's gonna be coming up in a little while. The fight around this objective is going to be a crucial one for determining how the next couple minutes go.
See, so far, we're trying to actually catch Sydney. They keep on pushing Indonesia's position, and this is where it's so aggressive to the side of Team Indonesia that Cambodia is controlling every movement so far. Even the clearing wave for the midwives, yes, they did lose the level of number 1, but yet Team Cambodia is doing well. Some of the invasive shots coming in from Shell will not be spotted out by Mlbb, but they are going in for 1v1. I'm not sure if that's going to be a good move. That's just going to be a little bit of poking from Indonesia.
A little bit of poking indeed. Shell is actually going to start becoming quite annoying as time goes on because she has been allowed to free farm several different parts of the map at this point. There is no level difference between her and Mlbb, who is currently 3-0 on this Ranger. The Team Cambodia, once they start taking this First Lord, is going to need to up the pressure. Whereas Team Indonesia wants to generally slow down the state of the game and keep scattering their opponents. They want to make them doubt their decision making.
Let's see, Lord Dance is coming in, just a little bit of teasing from side of Cambodia.
Bahaya nih Lordnya nih.
Trying to find a way for them to set things up, even though we know Fumieko is going to join in just in time.
Udah kalah guys season-nya.
Right and behind side, Vivian comes through. They will be able to steal. Mlbb takes down Vivian first of all with treasure pulse as well. Fumieko try to survive. You know, will not be able to do so with double kill in the hands of Mlbb. This Lord will be in the hands of
dia purify guys. Dapat Lord lagi.
Doing all the best yet. That will still motion by Vival, but it's not going to be enough as this is already a win in the hands of Cambodia.
Definitely still a win so far, but Ue has to be careful. Oh, picks off City with the chase. So now it's probably going to end up dying to the sun here. Shell going to be picking up her first kill of the game, and that gives her the Great Dragon Spear as well. I like the way Cambodia's positioning. They are specifically just grouping all together because they know that the sun can come from a flank. Shell actually did a very good job of identifying Mlbb in the midst of everything, but was just a little bit short of getting the kill on the Granger. And because of that, Cambodia still does come out on top of that trade. But the longer this game goes, the more difficult it is going to be for them. They can't allow this to last too much longer. Shell is going to make it do exactly that. This is one of the strengths of the Sun. Lord? What Lord?
Exactly. This is what the fighter is all about. Definitely will be able to take it off, but Cine shuts down the on immediately. Even with the wave breaker able to actually pass through. But is it going to be enough though? Team Cambodia probably takes down Cine, goes in for the double kill with Vival. Now one more. Vivian managed to break through with the wave breaker. But still, this is going to be a turret comes into the hands of Cambodia. And they had to back off because Cambodia is getting into it.
This is the time for Cambodia to just get as much damage on the map done as possible. Mlbb has hit a rolling hit right now on this Granger. 7-0. That is easily 5 Skypiercer stacks at least. And you can see how much damage it was doing to the squishier targets. Cambodia needs to continue doing this. Up the ante. Up 60 stacks right there. That is a lot of damage to worry about. And we know Indonesia is generally going to be fighting 4v5 because Shell is on a mission.
Shell is definitely trying to at least do a little bit of the split push, but again, it's not going to be enough.
Awas. Aduh, ini apa sih iklan-iklan nih guys?
A lot of things that needs to be catch up because Team Cambodia, as one, they will be able to actually just trample one after another of Team Indonesia. So Team Indonesia needs to find a way how they want to actually control every single damage that was done by Mlbb itself. But coming in right now, wave breaker Vivian! Just a little bit slow, but she will be able to survive it out, only to be taken out by Mlbb. Yue comes in with Cine to be shut down. Oh no, Mlbb!
Nice.
Instead. And now Cambodia trying to do a little bit of damage, but Elon was down.
Okay.
Shutting her down immediately. This is a comeback comes through from Indonesia team.
They're are gonna have to make up for their losses right there. They're gonna try and chase down Shell, but one of the annoying things about Sun is it's so difficult to
Ayo
catch.
San.
Shell escaping from 3 members all by her lonesome, and while this is happening, Indonesia is already spreading their influence.
Kita
to the
lihat di
other
level
parts of
14.
the map. The moment that Baobei went down once, Team Cambodia's entire lineup falls apart.
Team Indonesia finally get their feet on the ground, able to actually break that back line, and this is what is needed for them to return all of the fight that was done by Team Cambodia. Looking on the lot that is coming through already.
Info guys, gak ada
Where
puri
Hali
dia
will
guys.
actually set things up first.
Granger.
Somehow, Team Cambodia doesn't spot out
Tuh,
Shell in the midst of the
tuh
grass, though.
dia.
So this could be a very, very scary
Aduh.
situation if they don't realize it.
Think if that was any
Oh,
ordinary
nggak ada
player,
Petre
they would
juga ada,
100%
guys.
try jumping on Baobei, but instead Cambodia's jumping.
AOG comes in. Oh, Sini managed to break away, but at the same time here, Tegami try to pull in with a Vivian
Hati-hati.
sniper. It's gonna be Baobei to shut down Sini with that Death Sonata. But at the same time right here, it's gonna be
Oh,
Shell.
Granger.
Goes even away from
Nice, dapat guys.
Baobei right inside.
Ya yuk, udah. Bisa nih guys, rata.
The fine line at Cambodia falls, crumble in the hands
Bisa
of
rata.
Fuji.
Nice.
Immediately double kill in the hands of Shell with the side of Tegami.
Oke, pakai immortal lagi dia tuh.
Every single move leaving only one
Itu lagi
player can
Fredina
actually
guys.
go for the second round.
Ajar aja masukin. Ya ampun.
Tegami comes back for the double kill.
Tegami with the slam right in the face of Team Indonesia, holding it together for Team Cambodia. Regardless of the flashiness of that play, though, this is now a disaster for their side.
Sakit
Baobei has
pentungannya.
fallen again. They weren't able to defend her, and Tegami's not going to be able to walk off to contest this
Ayo
Lord.
kejar aja tuh Fredina.
Somehow it's not gonna be easy,
Nah,
but
jadi
Primo
aman
able to
lotnya,
get the
guys.
Lord in the hands of Indonesia, so it is risky. But again, Cambodia, even though they could not make that steal, this is going to be
Dia
their
pakai one ya.
set they needed so that they can set things up for the defense.
We are undoubtedly seeing a match worthy of being grand finals material right now. Team Cambodia, their entire lead has been taken out. The goal difference now is minuscule. Baobei has been able to complete the Wind of Nature. That's going to be a very important item for this Ranger if she wants to continue playing aggressively, since it will buy her precious seconds against the dive of this Sun. But Indonesia has the Lord on their side. They've been split pushing the map the entire time, so there's only 2 external towers remaining. And it's already past the point where holy defense would still be an issue. Team Cambodia, their chance of turning this around is starting to slim due to how much scaling Indonesia has built into their draft.
But then Fumieko try to step a little bit closer to Team Cambodia. It's not going to do much as they are pushing in. Fashion Pulse comes through, doesn't actually get anyone though, but in the end, this turret is going to be the opening comes through. Monteshaka comes in, no one actually gets into it, so that's going to be Team
mau ngambil
Cambodia.
Jetian
Just setting things
ada
up for the
pasif.
Lord itself. Somehow, this is going to be easy for turret bottom to be shut down easily. All of the waves are being
Soalnya
started out,
soalnya
but EOG
BOD
doesn't
guys.
get anyone. So Team Cambodia so far, the only thing that they are mentoring right now is just to defend, not to overextend.
Not a
Udah,
bad
mundur
defense, though.
mundur.
They do give up 1 inhibitor, but that is probably the best case scenario for Team Cambodia in this situation. We are 16 minutes in. This is around the time where I said Team Cambodia needed to try to end the game, because any longer than
Oh,
this
makin
and the scaling
jadi
from
nih sana,
Indonesia
guys.
might become too difficult to handle since they have multiple late game core heroes. It is still
Pecahin dulu
possible.
sih pasifnya
All of
tuh.
it rides on Baobei, and unfortunately 2 deaths in a row means that she's not gonna have a lot of Skypiercer stacks left over. She needs to build those back up to be the artillery threat that she was earlier in the game.
Let's see if Team
Turun guys,
Cambodia
TK
can
41.
guard out Baobei before being picked off by Team Indonesia. So far, when it comes to actually executing, Indonesia has been perfectly fighting. Even though with Tegami able to actually back things up with that double kill, it's still not going to be enough for Team Cambodia to catch up with Indonesia's gap, whereby they are already leading up and now
30
trying to
detik,
go
Lord.
in for a fight with the Fallen Star Moon, but somehow does not grab anyone
Bisa
in
sih
the
pancing
mid. So far,
purify
Team
yang
Cambodia
Granger guys.
having a lot of structure, able to actually create some safe space between them.
I want to see some adjustment here from Team Cambodia, especially from Baobei. She has been able to use the early game snowball. She has to go for very aggressive pickoffs, but you cannot afford to do that anymore. Even if you see a very
Panjang ini
juicy
gamenya
kill
nih.
right in front of you, You need to second chance it if you are in this Granger's position. You need
Dia
to stay
ada one
protected. It
immortal
doesn't matter if you miss
purify ya.
out on kills. You need to ensure you stay alive.
Pancing.
No, but Shell says no, you're not gonna be able to stay alive.
Oke.
But they do have the chance for UA to
Ayo
back
Sun,
things
Sun,
up.
selamatin.
Shell
Aduh,
still managed to survive
ih.
it out, but no, goes away with the clone.
Apa sini guys? Iklan-iklan aja dari tadi.
So right here at the moment right now, they are going in for a fight, but no, they are pushing into Cambodia just to shoo them away as they are
Nice, dapat Lord.
to be taken by Viva. In the moment right now, Fumieko try to actually scurry away to the side of Team Cambodia. Bao Bei barely scraping along.
Hey.
Immortality right in the hands, but they're
Oke.
not gonna it because Viva will shut him
Sun,
down
Sun,
for good.
rontokin
It's
turretnya
a
Sun.
3v5 defense situation. Now the Lord is still very far away, but Indonesia might just be able to muscle their way in. Bao Bei is the only one that's going to be able to do notable damage, but the minions are so tanky right now that it's even taking her a while to clear them up. Slowly but surely, the waves are sinking in, and Ue is not going to be available for this base defense.
Fast to rate for them to just bear open this space. At the side of Cine takes it
Angkat.
down. Both go in for the
Aduh,
waves of
ada
breaker.
Jetian nih.
Tegami barely surviving, goes for the Imperial Run, but does manage to go for the defense wise. So Team Indonesia still had to move away, but
Nice.
Michael takes down Moshi immediately. Lord coming in. It's a great defense mechanism comes through for the side of Cambodia. They managed to actually shoo away the side of Indonesia, but is it going to be enough though? Fumieko, Traction Pulse doesn't get anyone just yet. So far, Cambodia is desperate, but at least their desperation can still hold out the
Mundur aja lu,
situation.
mundur aja
Really good
bahaya guys ya.
composure there from Team Cambodia. Considering the odds, it would not have been difficult for Indonesia to just muscle their way in with that Lord. But since Bao Bei was able to keep herself alive, it meant that they couldn't just walk in without risking having themselves wiped off the map. Even without the Gatot Kacha in that fight, Cambodia keeps themselves in game number 1. But now their base is going to be empty, and the scaling is still ramping up for their opponent.
So far, we are seeing they have been taking care of Bao Bei,
Sunnya
denying anyone from the team of Indonesia
nyari-nyari
to steal her.
Granger-nya
And this is where the
di
position that
geng
we are
terus.
asking for them. But the thing is, not much of Bao Bei will be able to stack things up. Michelle, again, try to tease a little bit of Bao Bei. This is where the fine line, they just want to bait her out. And Team Indonesia knows that if only Cambodia eat up those bait, they might be able to set things good.
This is the part of the game now where it is very annoying to deal with this monkey. And Shell is well aware of it. She is constantly going to be a nuisance, poke clones out, get vision,
coba
find
aja
gaps
guys, coba guys.
necessary, and exert consistent macro pressure that is not going to allow Team Cambodia to group together. We can see that Elon is basically forced on housekeeping duty permanently now because Fumieko as well is going to be able to split push the map on the other side.
The fact that right now they are one man less. When it comes to the team fight, they are required because 24 seconds, Lord is about to appear. And knowing for a fact that Indonesia, if they can actually get that Lord, it could be a
Kayak gini
closure
udah
already
rontok
for the
turretnya
first
udah enak
round
dah.
of the match.
This is a very difficult decision to make in the position of Team Cambodia. They need to basically send their entire team if they want to have a solid chance of contesting the Lord. But there is always the possibility of a backdoor, and Elan is not going to be able to defend against Shell or Fumieko by herself, which means you need at least 2 people staying in base, keeping the waves in check. But there is no way they can contest Lord with 3. So Cambodia might be forced to give this up.
But Wave Breaker as well as Tsunami Slam stealing away Moshi.
Aduh,
Moshi barely
selamat
surviving
guys
that, but at the same time,
pelakunya.
Tegami comes in for a fight. Doesn't manage to actually pull through with a pistol
Ini
round.
kemana
Now
guys?
coming in with the
Mencoba
traction
join.
pulse, moving straight forward to the side of Cambodia.
Dapat
They will
lapu-lapu.
be able to take down Bao Bei first
Ya
of all.
ampun,
Now
darahnya
bringing
penuh
all
lagi.
out Ue barely alive, will be shut down
Nice.
by Viva. Now Tegami is going to be the next victim, barely surviving with all the base damage.
Oke.
Shuts them down for good. Elon, the housekeeper, will be also
Aduh.
terminated. Rimochi tries to survive it up, but no. Fumieko
Ya bisa
wins
bisa
the
en.
There's going to be an opening for them to get Team
Bisa guys.
down in the hands of Team Indonesia. No.
Ayolah Sun. Oke.
But the crystal is already in
1-0.
the hands of Indonesia for the first win.
In a very sneaky way, Team Indonesia finds their way into the base of their opponent and turns the entire game around on its head. Team Cambodia were controlling the entirety of the early to mid game, but the entire concept of this draft is to deny that in the first place. That late game, that sun constantly being a nuisance, and the speed at which that crystal melted. This is gonna need to be respected going forward.
Kita lanjut game
Can I see
kedua guys.
myself? It's a little bit dark in here. I can't see myself.